amount of money. At the time, in 2006, the domestic banks, the Bahraini banks, only accumulated around $28 billion out of $187 billion. Only tiny amount is deposited or controlled by local banks. Most of it is investment bank, whole banks or retail banks coming from the West, or the Islamic banks which moved from the West at the time, Al Barakah, Faisal, which changed its name to Bahrain, and all these kind of financial institutions. By 2007, the money almost doubled. The Central Bank of Bahrain is regulating and controlling $246 billion. That's almost double that amount in 1 year. The assets of the Bahraini banks just increased by 10 billion, from 28 to 38. By 2008, that amount again increased to $253 billion, where the Bahraini banks just increased by 49 billion. So a huge amount at the time when the GDP of all Bahrain is almost $12 billion. The productivity of the island itself per year, the gross domestic product of all Bahrain, is 11 to 14. But the deposits coming in and controlled by these individuals on behalf of the royal family increased by 2009. Again, when the 2008 violence against the opposition heightened, that amount of money shrinked. And here is the reason why the royal family was very determined to crush the opposition. Because by 2009, they realized that in 2008, $253 billion shrinked to $222 billion. That's almost 12% down by $31 billion because few Shia went out, and Ustaz Mashema here witnessing that at the time when they started to go through it and trying to detain few people. At that time, the ruling family was hesitant because they are seeing by their eyes that the reputation of the stability of the regime started to be shaken. And if you want to look and follow what's happening in Bahrain, don't look to Al Jazeera or BBC about what's happening in Bahrain. Try to look at the insurance premium in Bahrain. And every person here, and I do this every day, I don't really go to Maktab al-Bahrain or read the newspaper, I go straight every day and look at the Lloyd's insurance index about Bahrain to know exactly how a Khalifa family is in trouble and how the repressive machine is going to go out and be even more harsh. Because they are not concerned about what's going on, they are concerned about who is running the stability of the country and how they can assure this huge amount of money. The reason for this, the whole public finance of Bahrain, the so-called, I was laughing when the Wifaq and the rest of it is trying to negotiate the issues of Al-Mizani, the annual public finance, and trying to review and make fierce arguments about Al-Raqaba, the kind of Diwan al-Raqaba, that's the kind of
Monitoring.
monitoring what's happening, because the issue is there. It's almost $2 billion. The overall public finance for 2008, and this is not my figures, this is official figures. The revenue of Bahrain government in 2008 and 2009 on average is $2.7 billion. It's a tiny fraction. It is a tiny fraction. And the overall expenditure, where you can feel the discrimination in education, and health, clinics and everything, the overall expenditure of the government is $2.1 billion. Sorry, Bahrain dinar. Multiply that by 3, it will give you the dollars. So the figure here, in terms of public finance, it is on the range of $6 billion. And the overall GDP is between 11 and $14 billion. But the assets which these individuals is controlling is $222 billion. Now, why that's significant? Why they are more concerned about what's happening in the central bank than what's going on the streets? Because this time the opposition started to go from the villages, the center of Al-Manam. And here that's the problem. If all this conflict, which has been going on for years and years, is going to stay there in the villages, that's fine. But to reach the center where the Bahrain Stock Exchange is flourishing and the transactions are getting bigger and bigger for billions of dollars, that's serious. One protest in front of the finance harbor was crushed viciously, and even very honorable individuals were treated badly, because that is almost the taboo for the ruling family, is to reach these institutions, because it is almost 20 times the resources of the country they are owning. And I'm saying this because, again, I'm not trying to be sectarian here, but these are the people who's controlling the Al-Bahrain exchange, stock exchange. I will read the names. Rashid and Maraj, again. Anwar Khalifa, Ali Silwan Thani, Khalid Kano, Isam Fakhru, Hassan Jim'a, Sheikh Mohammed bin Isa Al Khalifa, the representative of the family, Adil Al Labban, as an Egyptian naturalized Bahraini, wa Abdul Majid Abdul Salam. I'm not really trying here to see how many Shia are there. But these are the people who's controlling the Bahrain Stock Exchange. Billions of pounds. These are the name in English for my friends here. Now, let us move another step forward and to look at the other person and groups who is running Majlis al-Tanmiyya al-Iqtisadi, the overall transactor of every single grand project in Bahrain. And I'm talking about grand project because we are talking on average about a $2 to $3, $4 billion per project. Durrat al-Bahrain, Rafah Fuse, Amwaj, Diyar al-Muharraq, all of them. It's controlled by 2 Khalifa family. The Crown Prince and his cousin. And I'm afraid this is the list of the board. It's interesting, there is only one Shia person here from a Safar family. The rest are from Al Khalifa or their commercial Sunni families. Let us move a bit to غرفة التجارة, the area where the brokerage for the last 70 years at least regulated by commercial families. And I'm trying here to say that the issue in Bahrain is resources and identity. And since the 30s, these are the chairpersons of غرفة التجارة. And I'm again not trying really to be sectarian by looking to them and see if they are really representing any interest for the majority of the community. And these are the current elites: فخرو, زينب, عثمان شريف, صقر شاهين, عبد الحميد الكوهني, عفنان الزياني, حسن كمال, خالد الأمين, سمير ناس, خلف حبيب, عادل العالي, جواد الحواد, وإبراهيم الدعيسي. The minority are Shia. The overwhelming majority is controlling غرفة التجارة are Shia. So now I'm bringing these three elements together: Central Bank of Bahrain, Majlis al-Iqtisadi, the stock exchange, and the commercial elites. All these, there is less representative of the majority community than any other place. They are less representative of the majority community here, even than the number of the majority community in the Ministry of Interior. Believe me or not, it is much easier for a Shia person to find a job at the royal court than can find it in one of these institutions. I'm talking about being in the decision-making position, not a minor job. There is no way whatsoever. So why the financial sector is almost monopolized by these individuals? Because that is the resources of Bahrain. It's almost 20 times the extraction of resources from that small island. It is billions. It is 222 billions now. And the drop from 253 caused by the protest of